Hi again, it's Mark at ExoticCar PlayPlace. Today we're going to be doing the repair on my BMW X5 diesel. As you noticed probably in a previous video of mine, we encountered after a few nights sitting overnight, the airbags had lost their pressure because of some kind of leak in the system. Well, I'm hoping I found the leak. I had purchased new airbags, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you guys what it takes to do that repair. But I'm also going to talk about the tools and how to do it safely. So I'm going to show you a step-by-step on this E70 X5 diesel. So this one's a 2009, and I'm going to walk you guys through it step by step. Please stick around. But before we get to that, please, if you know you like BMWs, you like M5s, you like X5s, you like everything from BMW, you like Lamborghinis, Gallardos and beyond, do you like Porsches, do you like supercars? If you like any of that, if you said yes to any one of those, you be sure to subscribe to my channel, guys and gals, because there's going to be a lot more of this great content. Repairs, reviews, drives, evaluations, and just features. So come along. So for this repair, you're going to need a great sturdy floor jack. You're going to need some blocks to hold the car from rolling. Safety, don't forget the safety. You need goggles, you need gloves. Then we're using a 10mm combo wrench. We're also using a ratchet with a 10mm. That's to remove the cover, and you'll see shortly. We also have the breaker bar with a socket to remove the lug nuts from the wheels. We also have the lug nut specific key because it's got the steel-proof lug nuts on it. We also have a 1/2-inch ratchet just for speed. Don't forget the jack stands. Never go underneath a vehicle without jack stands. And then of course we have the actual airbags themselves, which I showed you on a previous video, and I'll show you those shortly. Okay, we want to make sure we chalk up the front wheels. I'm going to do the other side as well, because I'm working on a sloped surface here. We don't want it to roll. We're going to be lifting the back end of the vehicle up, and in this case, because I'm changing two airbags, I'm going to actually try to do them at the same time, get both the wheels off, and basically get the vehicle totally off the ground at the back. So the first thing is I'm going to jack up the passenger side here. Why am I starting on the passenger side? This isn't the airbag that went. Well, and there's a jack point under here, by the way. Why we're starting here is because to relieve the system. Now I know there's guys on the internet, I've seen reviews of this, I've seen where guys have done this repair and they've just cut the airbags open and relieved the pressure that way and just saved themselves the trouble of relieving the pressure from the actual solenoid. I'm going to show you the way it suggests doing it by the book for maximum safety. It's a little more involved, unfortunately. It's not as quick and dirty. I had seen one gentleman, he cut it with a knife. I guess the risk is these systems are pressurized up to about 150 psi, and there's a risk. I don't know about you, but you know, to have 150 pounds of pressure shooting a piece of snap-off Olfa blade at you sounds a little bit risky. So I'm going to try to eliminate the risk as much as I possibly can in terms of safety. So this is, in my mind, probably one of the safer ways to do it. So that panel happens to be under the passenger side, which is the right side of the vehicle. I'm going to jack this up and I'll remove that, and I'll show you here in a sec. I'm going to use the jack and the jack stand just as a little backup here. I'm not really going right under the vehicle, but I am certainly going to be under part of the wheel well there at the back, and I don't need a vehicle falling on me, so we're going to reinforce this with a jack stand and a jack. So we're going to do the same on the other side. Now fortunately I have two jack stands, just what I've accumulated over the years. You might find other ways to do this, but I jacked this side up as well, and I'm also going to reinforce this. So here, obviously I'm wearing the glasses. If you're working with compressed air, always wear glasses, safety glasses. And also I've got gloves because, hey, just an extra barrier for protect your hands, why not, right? So right now what I've got is my 10mm socket, 10mm combo wrench, and I've got just a hand, kind of a screwdriver adapter here. So hopefully this makes quick and dirty of removing this cover so we can get access to the airlines. got that cover off, you had to pop all these clips is what I found. These little clips that are holding up in here along this rail. I had to pop all those. There's 6 of those, so I had to pop them. I had to add another piece to my arsenal of tools. So I gave this a little pop, and then they come out. Be careful not to yard on them too hard. Next step. So now what we've done is we've exposed, here's the air block. This is the piece we want to disable prior to working on the airbags, because if you don't disable this, you've got a constant potential feed of 100 to 150 psi of air or thereabouts to each wheel. Now if you'll notice looking at this, you got to make sure you get it in the right order. So we want to undo the electrical connector. Squeeze the top here, give it a good yank, there we go. So we got the electrical connector undone. So what that's going to do is eliminate any chance of this thing feeding while while you're doing this work. Now you'll notice the 2 airlines. One airline goes to the right side, one airline goes to the left side. And you'll notice once we get the wheels off, you'll know which ones those are. Just make sure that you put them back in the right order. Obviously on the bottom of the block here, you have a little blue sticker. That's a good reminder this is the blue side. So just to make sure you put the blue on the blue, red on the red. Now we're gonna grab that 10mm wrench. Now this is where it gets a little questionable, so you want to make sure you let the air out very slowly, because there's some pressure behind it. Yeah, you hear it a little bit? Let some of the air out first before you pull it right off, otherwise you'll get a poof in your face. Could actually catapult one of these brass fittings into your face too, which you definitely don't want to do that. Alright, so we undid these. We've got the red and the blues. The airlines are off, the electrical connector's off, so it doesn't obviously blow out any more air to the rear airbags. So let's move to the wheels now. A little sticky sometimes. There. So you want to give this a little pop there. Get that out of there. Now we turn this way. Pull it out this way. Shoehorn it out of here. You gotta watch that airline. Be careful not to damage that. And now we've got this bag more or less out. Okay, so we got the new airbags over here, and we're gonna grab one of these out of the box. There we are. Close the other one up for now. First thing is we have to remove this little plug. That's all that is just a shipping plug. Pretty much useless. And pull that out of there. And actually what they do is they give you the nut with the ferrule inside, and that's intended if you have an airline and you have to repair the end, that's all inclusive. But I believe we just take that out of there. Here, maybe reuse the top, because that way it doesn't mean I have to redo the ferrule. Why mess with something that's working? So I'm gonna do this, take that off, grab my wrench, undo this ferrule in here and leave that cap on there. Undo this airline. Red line had the least amount of air coming out of it when I undid it at the controller there, at the block. And coincidentally, this is the side that happens to be the one that collapsed on me, so that can... Whoa. I think that's a pretty good indicator. We got some wear happening there, and I would say there's a very good probability that that's what caused our failure. You can pretty much see just wear and tear like that, wear and tear. You notice that? It rolls on itself every time you hit a bump. Well, this one's got a little age to her. This is a 2009, and of course 2009, it's had a lot of compressions, and that of course has led to this failure. Hence why we're doing a new airbag today. So I'm going to take this one off the new bag. I'm going to reuse the old existing cover for two reasons. Number one, it looks like it's original equipment. It might be slightly sturdier. This one feels a little bit flimsy. As you can tell, it's already got some creases in it, so maybe not a big a deal. But the other thing, of course, is you'll notice there's a hole in it. So what that means is I have to redo the ferrule on the end of the airline to put it through. I'd rather not do that. I've got an airline that works right now. I'm assuming that's not where the failure point was. I'm going to reuse the old one because it's already fed through here. That means I don't have to mess with this ferrule and redo a new ferrule. I can just basically screw it right into here and be done. There's no damage. I already had a look, other than it's a little dusty. There's no damage to it, so there's no real reason I feel the need to change it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw this old ferrule into this new airbag as soon as I connect this up. So this, we got to make sure you line it all up, of course. Let's make sure the airline goes through that little slot. So we want to make sure what we do is we fit this in the groove. We screw that in there. Thread that in. Another thing I got to tell you, you'll notice right here we've got brakes. What does that mean? While we're doing this, don't blow this area out with air. Don't use compressed air in this space. Use compressed air, you're blowing all of the brake dust right in your face. What is brake dust? Well, if you're not already aware of that, brake dust is a carcinogen, which means it causes cancer. So why would you want to expose yourself to that? So let's just put this on. Let's see if we can snug this down. Snug that. It's not too tight because it is plastic base. There, she's snug. Make sure that airline is neatly in that groove. There, gotta push it in. It needs a little bit of coaxing. There, now it's in that little groove. Now what we'll do is we'll just redo this rubber all the way around. Make sure that's all seated properly. Again, ideally if you're working in this area, probably not a bad idea to use actually one of those dust masks to prevent the dust from flying around in your face while you're working in this space. So that looks like it's all good. So we have an airline connected, it's snugged down, and what we're gonna do, let's just put this back up. I'm gonna slide this back up into the hole. Now you'll notice there's a notch. There's some marks here. Make sure everything kind of aligns. What we're gonna do, we gotta make sure this fits into the top. We've also got some keyways up here. Want to make sure that gets locked into the top. If it doesn't, then we could have a problem. We need to make sure that that gets put up into the hole. Okay, I pulled this down. I had to extend it. Now I'm trying to push it down in the keyway here at the bottom. Stop. Okay, now we're going to come to the other side here because I said I would do both. And so, here we go. So again, on this side, what we're going to do is we're going to pop this, boom, done, just like that, you see? Get that out of there. We're going to undo this one. And again, looking at this rubber here first off, it doesn't look like it's in bad shape other than a little dirty. I think we're going to keep it, and we're going to keep the ferrule on this blue line here too. So we're not going to change the ferrule. We're not going to put the new rubber on the top. We're going to reuse the old one, which looks just fine. It should last another 100,000 kilometers, which is kind of what this thing lasted in the first place. So we pull that. There we go, done. All right, let's grab the other one. Take the rubber off of here. Because like I said, we're going to reuse the old rubber because it just makes it easier with the ferrules. So throw that in there for now. Take out the shipping piece. So that's not just the plastic, but the ferrule that they include, the ferrule and nut. I'm going to take all this out. We don't really need this, at least at this point. Spin that out. And we can screw the other one directly right into there. Okay, so what we're going to do, pull that line through there one more time. And we're going to thread that right into there, into the side, the top of this new airbag. We're going to just thread that in there nice and easy. Don't cross thread these. If you do, you've ruined it. Now the ferrule looks like brass. Of course the rest of this housing is plastic, so it's pretty easy to strip it out. So don't over tighten it, and definitely don't cross thread it because you'll wreck something. Let's see, so there. Snug as a bug in a rug. Now we throw that in there, put this, push that beast back into that slot. Oh, yeah, that's tight. Oh, there we go. You heard that snap? You don't hear a snap, you're not there. Now we want to make sure that hole in the front of the boot aligns with the groove in the plastic housing, and which it is in this case right now. Let's just work this way around, and we're gonna just seat the whole 9 yards here. There. As you can see, we're threaded in. We got the boot back on, and we've got the new airbag more or less in. So let's put this thing back in and see how it goes. I'm gonna feel my way up in here. And when you do this, actually guys, the last one took me a bit longer, but you'll feel a couple of keyhole slots, and that's a pretty good way to figure out how to align this top, because obviously you've got some, it's got to be keyed in a certain way here. So feel your way so you kind of at least have an idea how to start. Otherwise you can monkey around with it for a while. So this one's front and back. So I'm going to go like that. Let's try it. All right, so we got that snapped in. Now you want to give this a pull, it's going to pop. There. And you want to make sure that that is aligned. There. Well, it's seated, kind of. So let's get this fired back up. Let's get these both started. Got the red one here, which happened to be the driver's side in this case. We're gonna put this, thread that in. So we're gonna start, we're gonna put the wheels back on, see how everything looks. And these are a pain in the ass to put on, by the way. I hate putting these kind of wheels on. I like lug bolts, or lug nuts better than bolts, but. Okay, well, we finally got it wrapped up, got the last wheels on. I just jacked her back down to the floor. As you can see, we have basically a lowrider. So we haven't run it yet. I don't know exactly. I put a little air initially. I ran it a little bit while it was in the air. But we're gonna see if these airbags and all that fun stuff work. Obviously, it's sitting pretty low right now, so it looks like it's clapped out. Anyway, let's give it a try. Looks like it's starting to work. You can see it's starting to rise now. Look at this. Done. How do you like that? I'm gonna shut the car off now. So everybody, I really hope that helped you guys, this video. Obviously, you probably saw in my previous video where I discovered it after about a week's worth of parking. I had the car, found the driver's side slumped down, almost like you just saw it there. But I had to get airbags. I knew that was a problem. I know that's a common issue with these cars. And I wanted to share that experience with you. Please be sure, whatever you do it safely. You never work underneath the vehicle when it's jacked up without jack stands. Use eye protection, hand protection, all that good stuff. So anyway, guys, gals, I hope you really enjoyed it. We will talk to you on the next one. Be sure to subscribe for the next batch of great videos. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.